Paltrocast.
Thank you for taking the time. Are you dialing in from Nashville today?
I'm actually in my hometown bedroom. I'm in Merrick right now, just chilling for Labor Day, and yeah, this is gonna be the last time I'm able to hang here until I go on tour. So yeah, just kind of hanging out at home.
Yeah, record is out in about 3 weeks. When did you actually finish it?
So I finished it December, last December, and yeah, it was. We were kind of even at that point. It was like kind of the last songs of the record. This has been like a ongoing thing. The record has been going on since like last. It was like September 2021. Like that's kind of when we started doing all that stuff.
So you started it before you had the Sony deal lined up?
Oh yeah, way before the Sony deal. I mean, most of the songs I wrote before the Sony deal too. So it was like, um, I kind of wrote some songs and recorded them
Hmm.
post Sony deal to kind of finish it off. But most everything was kind of before that.
Right. Everyone's asking you about Brad Jones, but I'm curious, Bobby Bear Jr., how did that collaboration happen?
Yeah, so Bobby, through Brad, Bobby is like an amazing freaking songwriter. He's
Oh, yeah.
actually, oh yeah, you know Bobby, part
I
of
know
Guy.
Bobby Bear Sr. as well, but Bobby Bear Jr., there was a while where my friend Tom was playing in his band back in the days of Bear Jr.,
Oh, no
when they
way.
had their major label record deal.
Oh my God. Bobby is just like he's like a chameleon. Like he has songs that are like songwritery, whatever, but he
Sure.
has like his dad's sense of like lyric capability, I think, like where it's like he's like a true storyteller. But the thing is, like he like the music he creates is like I mean, he's in like Guided by Voices right now, playing rhythm guitar, like
Yeah.
he is so like out there and like out of the box. Like I've never met anyone like Bobby. He's just like a creative chameleon and has so many hats.
Didn't he have a Grammy nomination when he was 4 or 5 years old?
Oh yeah, he sang at his like on his dad's song when he was like 4 and it got like huge and and then Bobby sang that song at the Ryman too and he showed me the video a few times but it's like it's so funny. You just hear like little Bobby like hey like he's just like so funny.
Every now and then there's one of those. I think there was a Green Day Grace Hits album that starts with
Hmm.
Billy Joe Armstrong when he's 4 or 5 years old. Is there a lot of stuff like that out there for you because you got such a young start?
Oh, like, was there anything that I recorded when I was
Embarrassing baby photo equivalent of
embarrassing?
music?
Uh, so I don't think I don't think I recorded anything when I was like 1, 2, 3, like very young like that. But when I was, I guess like when I was like the first thing I recorded was when I was 12. So I don't think it's in that territory per se, but like kind of you still hear like the squeaky voice and like all that stuff.
I think that this is just a guess, but I think you're going to hate that stuff for the next about 10 years. Then, somewhere around your mid 30s, you're going to want to put all that out as a deluxe album of some sort.
Oh, that'd be honestly, you're probably right. I'll probably like hate it for a while, you know, as long as I'm like in my 20s and think, oh, that's not cool, whatever. But then
Yeah.
I'll probably be in my 40s and miss how young I was and probably do something like that. So, who
And be
knows?
proud that you own the masters too. And
Yeah.
stick it to
Yeah.
your label. But
Yeah.
one of the reasons I want to talk to you, besides your music being fantastic and big things coming up, is you went to Bellmore JFK like I did. Now, when I went to Bellmore JFK, we were kind of known as the Amy Fisher High School, and
Mhm.
that was the one celebrity. But since graduating Kennedy, I've learned all these people that went to our high school, and no one really connected the dots. Did you know of any notable people that went to Bellmore JFK when you went there?
I heard a rumor Ben and Jerry went there and
They went
like
to Calhoun,
they
close
went to
enough.
Calhoun. Okay, okay. So they went to Calhoun. I don't. I mean, let me think. Um, I don't think I could think of anyone like famous. I know you said Amy Fisher went there, but I can't think of anyone else.
Well, the drummer of Splendor, they were on Columbia Records for a
Mhm.
couple of records, J Records. He was there. This band called Ultra Vivid Scene that toured with the Pixies, the singer, he
Ooh.
was there. Lots of random people. There, a writer on Futurama. a writer on Jimmy Fallon, all these people.
Wow. No
And
way.
what I'm curious about is, did you find there was much of an arts support system when you went to Kennedy, or is that pretty much your weekends because you went to Manhattan School of Music?
So Manhattan School of Music, all that stuff was like way even before Kennedy. I was like 12 doing that stuff, which was kind of crazy. But in terms of I think I was lucky enough to kind of hit a sweet spot during in Kennedy, because the band teacher, Mr. Evanella, has been like really
Hmm.
supportive of me, and like just like encouraging, like, and I'd like freaking play like percussion stuff, and like I wouldn't sing at all, and just, but he'd be so like encouraging, like if there was like a part like where I was like, all right, I kind of hear like a ghost note or something like that. This is super music
Ghost
nerdy, by the
notes.
way.
No, I
This
know
is,
what you're talking about
you
there.
know what I'm saying? Like he
You've
was
got
just like,
perfect pitch. Kudos to you.
thank you. He was just super supportive and let me run free creatively, and that was so much fun because I outside of school, do the whole artist thing, whatever, and singer, a guitar player, and then in school I was literally like playing like xylophones and like glockenspiels and stuff like that. So it was so much fun.
Yeah, a couple of people I was in jazz band with wound up actually pursuing music professionally. You found out years later, like, oh, that guy is at every Mulcahy's. He's at there like every Monday and Thursday. And this
Oh
couple,
wow.
there were Kennedy people who went into the arts. The singer of La Bouche, she went to Kennedy at the same time as I did. There was a guy
Wow.
in a band on Fearless Records at the same time as
Oh
Kennedy.
wow.
So, what I'm curious, furthermore, did you play in the talent show every year at Kennedy?
I didn't play the talent show. I think I maybe was because I kind of went through that weird like COVID phase of high school where it was
Mm-hmm.
like, all right, first year, like end of middle school to beginning of high school is just kind of taken over by COVID, and
Yeah.
then I got offered. I think I got offered to do the talent show this year, and I actually like I think that was around the time I was like starting to do stuff for like Bonnaroo. So I was like, oh my god, I wish I'd done this, but like I'm sorry.
But does the live performance part come to you naturally?
Yeah, I mean, I started the live performance thing really before. I mean, obviously I'd play guitar. That guitar was the first thing.
Right.
But after like kind of getting the riffs down and that stuff, the live piece was the next thing that came. Where when I was like 8 and 9, I was playing like street fairs and like really, like KJ Farrell's, just
Oh yeah.
like blues bars on the island, and like having a fun time doing it. And I think I was, from a young age, I was kind of privileged enough to get opportunities to play out through like School of Rocks and like music
Hmm.
school, all that stuff. And eventually I kind of had my own band. So I was playing really young. So I feel like almost like at home at like on a stage. It's like second nature, and I love it so much.
Was KJ Farrell's the one next to the firehouse across from the train
Yeah.
station?
Hmm.
So there was a little while where punk bands and touring bands were playing there, that national acts were happening there.
Wow. Like I just remember going into KJ's and like like School of Rock recitals, and like me with my like little blues band or something. But I didn't know like national like touring bands like went through there at some point.
Very short lived right there. There was a while where members of Taking Back Sunday were around Bellmore. There was this punk
Oh
rock
wow.
venue in North Bellmore called Ground Zero, and
Oh.
it was next to a laundromat and a pizza place, and Newfound Glory, and a lot of bands. Brand New's like third gig was there.
Oh, I love Brand New. They're cool.
Yeah, so I think that you grew up at the right time where people set forth that you could be cool and from Long Island. Whereas when I was your age, it was like Billy Joel, Twisted Sister, and that was that. That was all.
Oh, damn. I do love Billy Joel. Billy Joel is one of the greatest songwriters of all time, though. So if anyone tries and says Billy Joel isn't cool, you're wrong.
And you're on the same label as him, right?
I guess so. I mean, I don't. When did Billy Joel put out his last album? It wasn't like his last album in the '90s or something.
The last album was 93, but he's put out a few one-off new songs over the last 20 years. There's been a handful of new things that have come out on box
Oh,
sets and
okay.
hits.
Wow.
And
But
his
I guess
daughter, I
like,
think, was on your label too.
oh, who?
His daughter Alexa, I think, had a record or two
Wow.
on Sony.
Well, I haven't heard her music, so I'll check it out.
But
No.
back to you here. So you kind of had to sit on the album for a little bit, and you
Mhm.
had all the strategy going on with Bonnaroo, etc. How far ahead are things planned for you? Do you know what 2024 looks like already?
I don't know what 2024 looks like just yet. I know the goal is for me to be touring as much as physically possible for a very long time because I kind of went into the whole label ordeal, like music industry kind of thing, without a big social media presence, like kind of like modest numbers, and I kind of got signed based off the fact of me just being a good live act and everybody kind of like liking the music I was creating and all that stuff. So I think we're gonna go pretty hard live wise, and going on my first tour this September, right? Like literally the day after the album drops, with Jack Botts, who's like a kind of like a mix of like indie pop singer songwriter
Hmm.
music. Going on the road with him, and then I'm doing a few dates with Switchfoot on the West Coast, so that'll be fun. And then there's some other stuff happening that'll be even further out. But yeah,
Is it the kind of thing where you could do solo, but you could also have a trio backing you?
yeah. So I when I do the band thing, it's usually a trio backing me. But for all these gigs, like the Jack Show and Switchfoot, like that's all gonna be me on acoustics, just kind of playing very fast songs and playing an acoustic guitar, probably not how it should be played, just because I'm gonna be really just chucking it and playing rock songs on it.
Pedal board and loops?
No pedal board and loops, kind of just DI, but who knows, maybe I'm not against maybe at some point kind of seeing if there's any acoustic guitar pedals or something I could, make it sound a little weird.
Are the guitar endorsements in place yet?
So I have a relationship with Gibson. I don't know if it's like an endorsement per se, or like it's nothing written or anything. I know some people over there, because I mean, acoustic guitar wise, I really only play Gibsons just
Hmm.
because I love J45s and J200s, just like because I feel like they sound really big and nice. And I feel like the thing is, the louder the acoustic guitar sounds, the better it is, kind of like that vibe. So I love J45s and J200s. And I also play I mean, my main electric is a ES Les Paul, which is a discontinued like Les Paul that has an F hole in it. So
Hmm.
I got diagnosed with arthritis when I was like 9 or 10, and because I was lugging amps up like when I was really young, so like something just happened. So I was like, I love the sound of Les Pauls. Like this is when I was getting my first like really great guitar that my parents were like lucky enough to get me. Uh, I wanted the sound of a Les Paul, but I couldn't freaking like hold it because I was still really young and I had arthritis. So the ES Les Paul was like the greatest thing to ever happen to young Ben. So yeah.
Les Pauls are heavier than people realize. On the
Oh
scale
my
of the
God.
speed of the Les Paul, is anything heavier than the Les Paul? Like the Dot 335s are heavier.
I mean, honestly,
The Gallagher.
I don't even know if they're heavier because they all have the F holes and there's always like kind of breathing room, whereas the Les Paul is just freaking chunk. It's just a chunk of wood, and I don't know. I don't think I've played anything heavier than a Les Paul, but maybe, I don't know.
Maybe those Ted Nugent Birdland guitars. Those are
Oh,
probably
those are probably if you said Ted Nugent before, it's definitely heavier. It doesn't even you don't even need to know the shape of the guitar and what kind of wood it is. It's just the Ted
yeah.
Nugent is
And
heavier.
jumping off of amps while he's doing that.
Yeah.
So when it comes to playing guitar, obviously you're classically trained and jazz trained. That's which is a very rare thing to see that people can improvise and follow the rules at the same time. But
So I'm not even really classically trained guitar wise. I took some I like I'm classically trained when I was really young on violin, but guitar wise, I studied jazz for a while when I was younger and all that stuff, so I know jazz. But I did. I guess I can't really say I'm classically trained because I only did really like a little summer, like an entire summer of classically guitar stuff, and then I kind of threw it out the window. So I don't know if I'm classically trained guitar wise, but I get the jazz approach for sure.
Well, where I was going with that is doing the School of Rock thing, and keep in mind, School of Rock was not in Bellmore when I grew up in Bellmore. That's
Mhm.
that's probably like a last 10 years
Yeah.
thing. When I've spoken to musicians or professionals around your age who did the School of Rock thing, usually they had to play in a Van Halen show, classic rock bands like that. What were some of the classic rock bands that you had to learn the catalog of?
Ooh, early on, I'm trying to think. CCR was a big one, and the
Yep.
first like music school I went to was in Belmore. I don't know if you might know this, the Rock Underground. You know that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's across from a great Japanese place. I can't think
Yeah,
of
yeah,
it.
yeah, Como. Yep.
Exactly.
That was the first one. I learned so much CCR then. CCR, Deep Purple. I'm trying to
You
think.
had to play the Richie Blackmore lines.
Oh, like there was like Highway Star and freaking Jesus.
See, what
There's so much stuff.
Well, I'm sorry to cut you off here, but when you think of maybe the easiest stuff to play on guitar of the classic rock stuff, it's probably Creedence. And then you think of the hardest stuff to play, it's probably Deep Purple.
It probably is Deep Purple. I remember learning like I Always Star and all those songs and being like, oh my god, just like a lot. But I learned. I'm trying to think. There obviously Zeppelin. Zeppelin is like the tried and true. Every person who picks up guitar needs to learn
Sure.
Zeppelin songs. Beatles, Cream. I remember Sunshine of Your Love being like one of the first like actual guitar riffs I learned. So yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Well, two quick questions and I'll let you go. And first one is when you're not busy being this singer-songwriter that has a career, where does your free time usually go? Do you have a number two hobby or is it all just music all the time?
Ooh. So I love hanging out with my friends
Sure.
over in New York. So I'll hang out with them and just kind of screw around, have a good time. Like just what's the right word? Just kind of like live not being this like they know me as Ben from Merrick, not Ben this singer songwriter, so
Right.
it's kind of fun to do that. And honestly, when I'm not like playing on a stage, it's like there's always music happening. So like I'm like maybe fiddling on like a MIDI patch on my keyboard, or like I'm recording stuff, or just kind of doing something that's musical but not really for me as an artist, if that makes sense. um
Yeah.
and
Makes
then
sense.
I'm also a big foodie, so like maybe I'm like eating Indian food, or um some I don't know, some like I guess in Nashville, like going to Shotgun Willie's and like eating some like kick-ass barbecue. So yeah, that's those are kind of my things that I love doing.
Nice. And the last question before I let you go, what's the last concert that you went to for fun? Not because you were co-writing with the person or Brad say, hey, you have to check this out. What's the last one you chose to go to? Because sometimes when you speak to musicians, they go, if I'm not playing, I'm not going.
Oh, the last okay. Father John Misty. I was with Bobby Bear Jr. and Bobby was like, "Hey, want to see Father John Misty?" And I was a big Father John fan before, Bobby like texted me everything. I was like, "Oh my god, yes." So it was me, Bobby, and freaking Glenn Campbell's son, Cal Campbell, and we all went, and Bobby's son too, Bobby's son, Beckham, and we all kind of went and saw Father John, and it was like, oh my god, it was definitely one of the best shows I've ever seen in my life. He did like, I'm not sure how familiar you are with like his catalog, but he did like
Yeah.
Ballad of the Dying Man and like um uh what else he did? He did, I don't know if I can curse on here, but he did Holy Shit.
Yeah.
Like just all my favorite Father John songs, and I was very happy by the end of the show. It was just like melodic bliss.
I think you saw the best Father John Misty show, and I saw the worst one
Oh,
because
really?
there is this thing in Park City, Utah called the Park City Song Summit,
Oh,
which
I've
is
heard of that. Yeah.
You'll probably be playing it next year or the year after.
Fingers crossed.
Artists of your type play it, and they put Father John Misty at 11 p.m. or 12 p.m. in a bar where just people were talking over him, and you're
What?
like, "That's Father John Misty," and people are just not even listening. And then after he came on, I think Warren Haynes came on, and everyone just talked over him too.
What?
So when you
How is
listen to
that
what he's saying
possible?
between songs, you go, "Wow, okay, they have a sense of humor about it. They cashed a check," but wow.
That's insane. Wow. Wait, was Father John cool about it, or was he like cracking jokes and stuff?
He was cracking jokes that I'm going to say two people noticed.
Oh God, that's
So
bad.
I guess that might be a phase of your career where people go, here's a lot of money to play in the background and no one cares that you're playing. So I guess you have to decide, do you suck it up and take the check or say no?
Yeah. No. Damn, that's crazy.
Well, either way, hey Ben, I'm excited that your record's finally coming out. Looking forward to seeing you live in New York, and keep up all the greatness out there.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm really excited for this record to drop. It's been a long time. I mean, I'm really young, so I don't want to say it's been a long time coming, but I've been taking trips to Nashville from New York for the last 3 years, working on this album with Brad Jones, who's a great pop producer, and I'm like really happy that this is coming out. It was really just kind of me and him doing everything. We had a drummer come in and do a bunch of stuff, and a few hired like string players, horn players, whatever, like weird instruments besides bass guitar and stuff. But it was all the bass guitars and keys, me and him, and yeah, I'm really happy it's going to be out in the world.
Paltrocast.